Injuries happen to every team every season, and it's a real question of how much do those injuries change the outlook of your season. It's funny how these things line up, right? Because even before the season, I don't think a lot of people would have said that Deshaun is the best player on the Browns offense. He has the potential to be the best player because of the position that he plays, but nobody has said that. But if Deshaun goes out, the impact on wins and losses, or at least the impact on projection of wins and losses, feels bigger than somebody like Nick Chubb going out. If Deshaun Watson does not play well, that feels like a bigger loss when it comes to wins and losses than Nick Chubb just not being there. It's funny how these things line up. So what I want to talk about are the goals for the rest of the year. And before I do that, I want to thank my sponsor for today's video, DraftKings. NFL fans, you know what time it is. The season's starting to heat up. The plays are starting to get big. The wins are starting to get even bigger. And this video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NFL. And I'm here to share an exciting offer for you right now. New customers that bet just $5 get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings app now. Sign up using my promo code WORSTTAKE and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. That's right. New customers bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Whether you're a Saturday college football fan or a diehard NFL fan, DraftKings has the betting options for you. DraftKings customers can also get skin in the game with same game parlays. Combine multiple bets to get for the same game to get even bigger earnings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code WORSTTAKE. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code WORSTTAKE only at DraftKings Sportsbook. So the expectations for a lot of people were very high, especially after week one. Then week two happens. We kind of reset, and I don't know when this video is going to release, but we're in the build-up for week three as I record this video. So if there's a player that I mentioned that has gotten hurt, if there is something that I've mentioned that has drastically changed in the last couple of weeks, please try to keep that in mind. But that point still remains. What are the expectations? How many injuries to how many players will affect those injuries? Does the Nick Chubb injury change the expectations for the rest of the year? It depends on where you started at. If you were on the 12-win Super Bowl train, this might change things. It might not. Some people value the running back position, value individual running backs. I think everybody values the running back position. I just think people don't value individual running backs because they think you can get the same amount of production from a committee. So does that change how many wins and losses you think this team can make? Do you think having a Nick Chubb changes your ability to win in the playoffs or not? I tend to think so. I talked about this all summer. You want to have multiple ways to win. You just lost one of your ways to win. Now, you can still run the ball a lot and win a game like that, but the quality of opponent that you can do that up against is less when you don't have a Nick Chubb, when you don't have an elite running back, right? When you're doing the committee that says, hey, if we're playing against a team that does not defend the run well, we can exploit that with the committee. But if we're playing a team that does defend the run well, that's going to be a lot harder to do if we don't have one of those top level running backs. So since the Browns don't project to have any of those guys, they lost the way to win, right? They could go up against a Pittsburgh, against a great defensive front like a Baltimore, and you can still feel good about their chances to win just running the ball against those kind of teams when you have Nick Chubb. Nobody's saying you're just going to run the ball down Baltimore's throat, and it might happen, but nobody's saying you're just going to run the ball down Baltimore's throat and win a game just on the ground because you got Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. So I do think that takes away a path to victory. And if you take away a path to victory, you're probably taking away a victory. Where that victory is, I don't know. But I think that does change some of the expectations in the playoffs because that's where that's going to matter. That's where not having a Nick Chubb's going to matter. The regular season, you could be fine. But the playoffs, that can be where that impact starts to show itself. Now, who knows? Jerome Ford might show himself to be the best running back in the NFL, or Kareem Hunt might show himself to be one of the best 5 running backs in the NFL, and it doesn't matter. But Jerome Ford's in his second year. I don't think if he's shown that type of potential in practice, I feel like he would have gotten a much higher share of the carries when Nick Chubb was healthy than what he was getting. And as far as Kareem Hunt goes, hey, look, crazier things have happened, but the truth is that a lot of teams decided not to go with Kareem Hunt for whatever reason, to let him be available to this point. And that doesn't mean he's not good anymore, but that might mean that he's not going to be in the position to be rushing champ like he was in 2018, or like he looked like he could still do early in his tenure with the Cleveland Browns. So that's the run game. That's that injury. The real thing that's going to, and we said this all summer, the real thing that's going to determine how far this team goes is Deshaun Watson. Where is he going to be at with his level of play? I've said this in a video before. I'll say it again. Right now, there are 2 things on the table. Deshaun Watson improves, plays better, gets close to that form. Deshaun Watson regresses horribly. And this is kind of what he is, what he's been the first 2 weeks. Those 2 options are on the table. I think what scared everybody on Monday night about the Cleveland Browns potential is the combination. You lost Nick Chubb, and boy, oh boy, did it become a reality to us that not just the Deshaun Watson returns to 2020 form, that's on the table, because we always felt like that was on the table. But it became real to everybody that the thought that this dude might have just regressed so badly from what he was in Houston, that's on the table. For the longest time, we told ourselves, including myself, it wasn't on the table because he's 27, 28 years old. He's still super young. He's still who he is. He's still who he was athletically, physically. He doesn't seem to have lost anything there. He seems like the same athlete that he was in Houston. You know, this was about comfort. This was about getting comfortable, finding comfort in the offense and everything else, and playing well. But the more we see stuff like Monday night, the more real this option here feels like on the table. Like this option that we thought was just people being dishonest, people lying, or people being unnecessarily uncharitable about what they've seen with him on the football field, that option becomes real. And the realer that gets, the scarier it is. Because the truth is that this team could complete its goals, do everything you want them to do with Nick Chubb out. If Deshaun Watson plays like that, you're not going anywhere. That's how drastic of a difference just the position is. But that's the truth. Deshaun cannot continue to play like that. If he does, we're in major, major trouble. So expectations, goals for this year, they're going to have to ride with Deshaun. If we see what we see from Deshaun on Monday night for the rest of the year, I don't got to be the one to tell you. You're going to see a new coach. You're going to see some pieces moved out of this offense. And you're going to see a lot of reshuffling, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think they do a complete deck swap. Like, I think you still keep Jim Schwartz. They'll probably hire Eric Bieniemy or something like that. Hopefully they don't do something weird where they keep Kevin, but hire Eric or something. Like, I hope that they just, if you get rid of Kevin, just get rid of Kevin. Don't try to keep him and get rid of him. Like, if that's what it comes down to. But if Deshaun does not play better, then Kevin's gone. Unless Kevin does a Hail Mary, benches Deshaun, plays DTR, and this team looks amazing, and it's very obvious that the issues are only on Deshaun Watson, 100% it was him. Unless that is demonstrated to be the case over multiple weeks, and then this team reaches very high levels of success with DTR in his rookie year, then Kevin's gone if Deshaun don't play well. The only scenario where Kevin keeps his job and Deshaun plays terribly is if DTR somehow steps in, plays for a long time, and almost gets to the Super Bowl. If that happens, Kevin gonna keep his job, man. It's gonna be awkward as hell, but Kevin gonna keep his job. They're not about to fire him. And DTR gonna keep that job. But that's a fantasy. That's not realistic at all. That's a Madden fantasy pipe dream. Even if DTR is good, even if DTR is a future franchise quarterback, that level of expectation on him is ridiculous. So we can't even think that that's a reality that they can go to. So all this hinges on Deshaun. What level of quarterback play are we going to get from him? Because as much as returning to 2020 is on the table, and as much as regression is on the table, there's another reality on the table that's even more concerning. In my opinion, right? Best case scenario, Deshaun Watson returns to 2020, does that great stuff. We're fine. We're not tripping. Another scenario that I would just live with is that he is so bad that you just got to bench him. He is so bad that it is easily and demonstrably obvious that he needs to go, or at least he doesn't need to start anymore. Those are, I think, the two better scenarios, because you at least get to move on if he stinks that bad. If he plays well, obviously that's what we want. The scenario you don't want to get caught up in is what if Deshaun Watson just mellows into Andy Dalton and you're paying $230 million for that? What if he kind of is like a Kirk Cousins and you're paying all this money for that? What if he's a guy you can win 11, maybe 10 regular season games with, but in the big games you can't win with? What if he's just slightly above average? That is a scenario that is troublesome. So it's not just all one thing, man. There's multiple ways that this can go right or wrong, but that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. How do the expectations change with injuries? How many injuries outside the quarterback position do you think it will take to change those expectations, right? Let's say Deshaun starts playing well, but you lose Miles, you already lost Nick, and you lose Denzel or Grant or somebody like that, right? At that point, do we reset expectations? If Deshaun goes now, do we reset expectations? With Nick Chubb going down, has that already reset your expectations significantly? It's going to be interesting to see. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.